A 32-year-old Tokyo woman was having an affair with a married 40-year-old man. The mistress decided she wanted the man for herself, and so decided to get rid of the wife. She put a message on a bulletin board on an underground website named Kakekomidera, saying that she was prepared to pay money to a hitman. The operator of the website passed on the request to a man who claimed to be a hitman. The mistress paid 15 million yen to the operator and the hitman, and then waited for the wife to die at the hands of the mercenary. However, the hitman had no intention of murdering the wife. Eventually, the mistress realized this, and, get this, she went to the police to complain that she had paid for a murder to be carried out and it hadn't been. That's not even the craziest part of this story. To quote from the Asahi Shimbun of 18 October 2005, the hitman and the website operator were arrested on suspicion of fraud, meaning that the woman who paid a bundle for a murder was considered the victim. Charges related to the murder plot were not pursued. Accountability, as we know it, is not really part of Japanese society. I used to think that anarchy was perhaps the opposite of a lawful society, but now I believe a belief in custom is the opposite. Following this case, I discussed with my students whether or not it was fair that the woman escaped punishment for hiring a hitman to kill her boyfriend's wife. My students said that she had been punished in the form of a social sanction. This meant that she had been forced to move house because her neighbours looked down on her. Effectively, this constituted punishment. Meanwhile, at the bar with Tsukio,
Say this one. So, part the beef curtains. Part.
Separate.
The beef curtains. Part. The beef. Yeah. Part the beef. Beef. Aussie beef. Part the beef.
Australian.
Part the beef.
Curtains. Part the beef. Curtains. Not in. Part the beef. Part the beef.
I was to open the kennel, son.
Beef curtain.
どうぞ。また。
Part the beef curtain.
Yeah! Yeah, read that.
my parents and some friends made it to Japan around the time of my second autumn, which was excuse enough for another trip to Tokyo and to the magnificent Park Hyatt as featured in Lost in Translation. The coolest thing, aside from the views and the service, was the TV in the bathroom. I believe I've never been as relaxed as I was in this moment. Tokyo is so crowded that they discourage people from walking while they smoke. This is a smoking station. We took in a jazz show in Roppongi, an area otherwise best avoided, and made a point of visiting Yasukuni Shrine, the site of Japanese nationalism before, during and since the Second World War. It may be that at one time I was guilty of the hackneyed view of Japan as a warmongering nation who would never atone for her past. Those who hold this view should know just a few things. Despite Japan's awful and undeniable atrocities, they have apologized, they do learn about the war at school, and they have paid enormous reparations to countries such as China. And perhaps most importantly, I believe it is essential for the citizens of a country to be able to feel pride again in their nation, else they become ground down to a loathsome shell and of no worth to anyone, including themselves. The capsule hotel that we stayed in Akasaka was not quite up to the standard of the Park Hyatt, but comfortable and novel nevertheless. Meanwhile, Mum and Dad were taking photos of everything from rural Japan to the heart of the city. Water lilies to weddings. Local produce, and of themselves looking annoyed and startled. They went to Kyoto, as all tourists must, but I made sure they didn't neglect Osaka. Terribly unattractive, but with an undeniable charm, surprising in a city of its size.